Welcome to the Digital Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rard, and today we have two very special guests, Tomas and Caitlin, who are graduates of ours. Now, what's really interesting about their story is they have been able to successfully quit the corporate rat race. They now work completely online from home. They're building an amazing business together, and I've asked them to come in today to have a chat to us and share their journey, because I think it's got some really good lessons, particularly for those of you who are working long hours in a pretty full-on corporate role. I want you to hear how these two are able to quit their jobs and now have, do I say that, the ultimate business, in my opinion, which is, being able to work from home online. So welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Hey.
It's awesome to have you both on here. Now, Tomas, for you, this is really cool because I'm looking at your journey. You've been with us for 3 or 4 years, and you first started, how long ago do you think it was? About 4 years ago with us, training with us?
Yeah, I started around 2019.
2019, okay. And at the time, share with our listeners, what were you doing? What was your actual role?
Yeah, so I was working in a big multinational firm, Accenture, if you want, I can name it there, in the contract management department, so as part of the legal and commercial services. So my background, as you can tell, is completely different in corporate law. And I had been working there for plus 6 years on that company.
Okay, so you were corporate law, and guys, we've got to mention what amazing city you both live in.
Melbourne.
Melbourne, all right. And Caitlin, what's your background?
So I worked in fast-moving consumer goods, so in the FMCG industry, and worked for big multinational companies.
Okay, so the two of you are from, trendy Melbourne. Apparently it's the best city, top 5 livable cities in the world, but it's obviously the place for corporate roles like that. I'm presuming you both were working really long hours?
In my case, yeah, I think you as well, right?
Yeah, I had when I first started my career, and I'd scaled it down in more recent years, but I think you were working really long hours.
Yeah, I was working long hours.
Okay, so pretty long hours. Now, I'm also presuming, and you don't have to say how much you were earning, but I'm guessing in roles like that, corporate lawyer, fast-moving consumer goods, marketing, I'm guessing you're both earning a pretty good income.
Yeah.
We were doing pretty well, yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is the question that I'm sure lots of people have got on their minds right now, guys. This is what I want to talk about here is you've quit those jobs. They're gone. You don't have the security of a highly paid wage coming in every week. You're not swapping time for money, though. Now, explain to us now. So we will look at how you were able to do that. But just quickly, what's your main strategy that you have decided to take on from what you've learned here at the eBusiness Institute?
Yeah, so we've taken the local strategy. So we're focusing on running a digital agency, and now primarily doing web design, SEO for most of our clients.
Awesome. So you're building websites for local businesses, and you also do still dabble in, looking at due diligence and all the fun stuff about SEO and buying portfolio sites. That's kind of your little hobby. But the main money-making strategy that you've used, that we've taught you, that's allowed for you to quit your jobs pretty quickly, is the building websites for local businesses. And to do. Actually, on that strategy, let's explain why that's worked for you, just to give us a rough idea, and then I'm going to come back to this later in the interview, guys, but just to give us a rough idea, just so that people listening may not realise how much money there is in this. What are you generally charging for a website build for, when you get a client?
Yeah, so now we're charging around, starting at probably $4,000 for a new website and up to about $8,000 to $10,000.
Okay, perfect. And then you do ongoing SEO for certain clients?
Yeah, and we're starting, I would say our average is around 2,000, 2,500 and above.
Awesome. Okay, so that gives a really great picture for any of our listeners of where you are now. Let's look at the journey, though, because it's not all been easy. Yeah. So Tomas, I'll start with you. When you first started with us, what was your experience online? Did you know about the sorts of things that we teach here?
No, zero. I had tried like ages ago when I was very young. So I'm also from Argentina. So in Argentina, I tried to create a website. I can't even remember the platform, but no, zero technical skill sets whatsoever.
Awesome. Okay. And so you've learned, and you think where you are now, here you are, what, 3 years later doing SEO for corporates and stuff. Pretty impressive, that journey alone. So what do you think, so Thomas, you're working these long hours, you're a corporate lawyer. How the hell did you get the time to do this, and not only do that, and then do it as a side hustle? What was your first steps? Like, how did you find us, and how did you kind of get going with all this?
Yeah, so I found you, I think it was actually even before I joined Champions, because first I got into the digital investors.
Yep.
Around 2018, I think, and I started playing a bit with that, learning, the ropes, the basics. Then I thought it was, I had to take it to that next level. So I was really convinced by the whole champion, program, etc. So I decided to join, and that was quite a life-changing moment for me. And it also enabled me, the first step I would say was to try to find a way to step back from my corporate job or gain a day. And this was also near the disruption of the pandemic. So I was able to go back to 4 days. And by doing that, that actually enabled me, and with your help, that you connect us for BNI, which we can cover later, but which is a lot of champions, we get exposed to that. That allowed me to start, generating more business and getting the word out there.
Awesome. So your steps were, presumably you studied our course part-time at night. You started to learn these digital skills because you're a total beginner online. Mm-hmm. And then you were able to negotiate with your work to go to 4 days a week. Now I'm interested, did they know what you were doing on that? What day did you get off?
Friday.
Friday, all right, good networking day. Awesome. So did your work know what you were doing on that Friday? Did they care? Being, in that corporate role, I'm just interested. Was it hard to get them to agree to let you go to a 4 day work week?
Not really, because I think with the whole pandemic scenario, there was a bit more flexibility, and actually that company, they're quite let's say they're a bit advanced on like the whole balance or offering those benefits of the remote working or more part-time flexible arrangements. So in that case, it wasn't that hard. But then afterwards, I had to go back to 5. So I was still doing it. So I had a year of 4 days, and then 5. So yeah, it was still challenging.
Okay. So you did have to go back to 5 days. All right. Yeah. So obviously at some point you just decided to quit.
Yeah.
And so you quit completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was the scariest part. So I guess what I was trying to do was, well, first, the good thing I would say from these jobs is that you have a big saving. You can save a lot of money if you organize yourself. So I put a plan of having, and also after having some coaching calls with you, of having 12-month savings, so that it will allow me to have that buffer and that peace of mind that if things didn't started ramping up in the first months, I still had that let's say buffer to tap to. Awesome. And that gave me the confidence to just get to the point where I said at one point I was just, this is not worth it. I was getting some traction, but it was just too busy. And I just took the leap of faith, I guess, and went all in.
Awesome. And on that journey, Thomas, let me take you back in time. I remember coaching you in that first year. The fun site that you and I worked on, this is what really kicked it off for you. I think it's really worth sharing with our listeners how you got started, because on quite a small site, it was just a personal passion project for you. Can you explain the main site that you honed all your digital skills on, and that you could have, and that worked phenomenally well, but talk to us about that main site that you learnt on. Yeah.
So it was actually my mom's site. So she's an English teacher in Argentina. And for me, that was also one of the drivers that got me into Champions, which was, living so far away now here in Australia. I was motivated to help my mom generate more business, transform her life. So you and I played a lot with that side. I was actually learning the ropes, had no idea about SEO before. But if we just move now to where she's currently now, she literally, her business was completely transformed. Her mindset, she's generating all the leads from the website, and it's all because of, what you taught me and I could put forward.
Yeah, and it's not something that you're even actively managing now, and it just continues to work for itself because of all the SEO that you did all those years ago.
I mean, it was a seriously impressive result.
Yeah.
So you wanted, I remember, Thomas, when you first came on our program, one of the things you said, like when I interviewed you and everything, you said you were really strong on this. I just want to help my mum because I'm on the other side of the planet. Well, not quite the other side of the planet, but a long way away in another country, and it was your way of helping your mum, and you just wanted to learn these skills to rank that English-speaking language site for your mum. And remember too, Thomas, I'll take you back. You and I had a bit of fun on there. It wasn't all a walk in the park, was it? It's pretty competitive.
Yeah, no, it wasn't taking off, and we were like, but we're doing the right things, but like Matt is always right. We just had to wait a bit more, particularly it took 18 months. That was the period, literally 18 months. But after that, it just went, the hockey stick, crazy, and
she hasn't looked back, and she's still continuing to get leads. As much business as she needs to this day.
Yeah, she keeps on growing.
Yeah.
That is unreal. I mean, and like you guys said to me, it's changed your mum's life. And it ranks number one. And now, Thomas, is that something then, so that was, say, over that 18-month period, and obviously, like for the two of you and a lot of listeners, a lot of listeners listening to this presumably want either a side hustle or to quit their jobs. Is that then... was that a big determining factor when you got that success with that particular site for your mum because it was so close to you? Is that one of the things that really made you, gave you the courage to actually walk in and quit the job?
Yeah, 100%. That gave me, I guess, the confidence on the skill set, mainly to replicate it with other clients here in Australia. But yeah, that was like a life-changing moment where I was like, well, I can really help a lot of people by implementing these new acquired skill sets, and I just want to give it a go. And
I'm interested, like both of you feel free to answer this, but for someone from corporate, you got, even though Thomas, you said you dropped back to, and we see this a lot, to 4 days a week, so you had to free up some time. So the two of you have really started this journey out as a side hustle. Is that how you, and it would have gone for how long as a side hustle before you were able to make it full time?
Well, it took a while. Like I studied, what was it? Originally, like when I first put the whole labeling, logo, etc., was January 2020. And so it has been going from then. But I started getting more traction, I would say, around the 2021. So that's when it started picking up.
And then he quit his job in August 2022.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Congratulations, by the way, as well. And was it, like in those early days, what did you find the hardest? What sort of things were the hardest? So for someone and think from the point of view for the two, and feel free, Caitlin, for you to answer this as well, because you guys, think of someone in your role right now. What I'm trying to do is help them or prepare them, mindset-wise. What did you guys find hardest in the early days? I'm interested with you, Thomas, too, if you could actually answer that one first.
Yeah, sure. I guess the main one was, when you get clients that, or meeting, etc. I was constantly having to be, for my type of job, there's a lot of like external client involvement. So it wasn't easy to suddenly plan, meetings, etc. So I had to actually, there was a lot of, I'm not going to sugarcoat it in that sense. Like there was a lot of hard work involved. So either looking at ways, maybe at noon, at lunch, even putting myself, like I made it a mission. I remember that first year in Champions to block my calendar and so that I was able to make it. And you get meetings, especially in corporate, but that was the main challenge, to like find the time during those working hours where sometimes you just can't juggle the two of them.
Trying to fit it in. And for you, Caitlin, what were some of your challenges in, and congratulations, Caitlin, you've just quit your job as well.
Yeah, only 2 months ago for me, so it's been more recent for me. But I think for me, it was just the worrying about making sure that I had enough money to be able to sustain me until the business was able to grow. Obviously, we hadn't worked together before, so we wanted to give that a go. We weren't sure how we were going to go working together, so that was a big unknown before I quit my job.
That and so for you, Caitlin, I do want to say a big congratulations. You've just had a particularly big win. We've had some fun coaching calls just recently, the three of us together. And obviously, you're a go-getter like Thomas. I look at the two of you and think, man, here's the perfect couple. Just you've got the same vision together. You're willing to go for this. What are some of the key steps for you, Caitlin, that's really cemented into your mind that this can work? And and I guess they're kind of scary steps as well. But in the last few months, what's changed for you?
So I think, in the last 2 months, or actually even more recently in the last few weeks, we've had a big mindset shift where we mapped out our 90-day goals, and that was something that we did following on from one of the Champions boot camps, and mapped those out, and we were really clear about what we wanted to do in the 90-day period where we're off on an overseas trip soon. So we kind of had a window and some really high targets that we set for ourselves. And I think with some of the coaching calls that we've had with you recently, that's really helped with our mindset and really we've been able to unlock things that we didn't think were possible at the beginning of the 90 days. And we've been able to sign on 3 new clients just in the last week.
Awesome. And we're talking $5,000 to $10,000 clients, 3 in the last week. Nice one. And well done, guys. This is what impresses me with you both. You guys, and I think for anyone listening, you need to realise the power of this is setting an intention and goals. And what I love about you two is, and especially Thomas, now that you've got Caitlin working in this with you, you realise, okay, there's a scary moment there, there's extra pressure, but setting goals, you're actually achieving them. And a lot of people don't even bother to set some pretty serious goals, and you guys have set some big goals, you're achieving them. And not only that, look at what you're doing for your clients. You guys are creating amazing results. I mean, Thomas, for you, it's easy to look at it and go, oh, wow, I was a kind of a beginner in SEO. Mate, you're a legend at it now. When you came back on the Champion, so those of you listening, Thomas came on the Champions, our high-level coaching program, and then went off and started doing all this stuff. And then he's come back on this year with Caitlin. And it's just chalk and cheese, your SEO ability now. It blows me away. Some of the results that you're getting, you are ranking very competitive businesses in Melbourne CBD, which is seriously impressive.
Yeah, thanks for that. I guess if you want, I can share one of the niches that I know I was, I didn't know how competitive it was back then, but then we started having the calls, and I'm like, oh, okay, actually it was competitive, which was on the labor hire niche. And we were able to partner with those guys, consistently number one Australia-wide, Melbourne and Brisbane for plus 18 months, which was...
And these are big companies. These are big companies. So you guys, your strategy now, I mean, look at you both. Classy, you've got the Melbourne look and the Melbourne vibe, the corporate vibe and everything. What are the main niches that you've decided to kind of go for?
Yeah, so as of recently, we're really targeting real estate, lawyers.
Real estate. Lawyers, of course, lawyers, yes. The two of you should definitely be targeting.
And also financial advisors.
Brilliant. Yeah, because... that's also your background, and it works well in perfect niches in Melbourne, and you're going to blitz that. So in order to target those, what's your main strategy there? Let's share what we teach. What's your main strategy in order to get that initial foot in your door? Because a lot of people thinking, well, how do you just go out and find lawyers to build websites for? What are you doing to find those sorts of clients initially?
So I think there's kind of 3 avenues that we're looking at for outreach at the moment. So the first one is BNI, which Thomas has been part of BNI now for a few years. 4 years,
I think.
Yeah.
So that's a business networking group.
Yep.
Yeah, I've just joined the Melbourne chapter for BNI, so now I'm really focused on meeting lawyers and connecting with some new people around Melbourne CBD with that. We've got email outreach would be our second key channel that we're using. And Tomas has set up a really good email outreach program, and we're having some great success off the back of that. And then the third way is cold calling. So that's what I'm going to be doing a lot of going forward.
So go, Caitlin, you're rising to my mindset challenge then, the 100 call challenge.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Good to see. So we have a challenge where what I do with our champions is I gently push people to stretch themselves mindset-wise and challenge-wise. And these guys are not born salespeople or anything like that. So what we do is we throw out a challenge, ring up, cold call 100 businesses and just have a chat, just have a conversation, see if you can help them in some way and educate them a bit about digital marketing and online and how you can potentially help them. And that then opens doors for later on. And obviously you two, you're finding that's working because I've noticed with the two of you, your mindset over this last, especially the last 3 months has just been amazing. And I do want to say, to you both and to anyone listening, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this interview with you, because it's a moment in time for you both, okay? So no pressure or anything, but public accountability now, guys, coaching-wise. People are looking at you two and going, okay, these guys are legends. We want to see more. We want to see what you achieve. So
yeah, we're starting to get some really good momentum, so we want to keep it up too.
Yeah. So for Caitlin, for you, when you obviously know Tomas really well, right? When you look at Tomas and you can see obviously his digital skills came up as well. I will just bring it back. What do you think is the turning point? Because it is. I'm going to bring it back to this. The theme of this particular interview is you guys are bold, gutsy, quit full-on high-paid corporate roles. What do you think was the turning point where it can happen? So someone listening, so they can go, yeah, when can I get to that pivot, that turning point?
Yeah, so I think
I'm putting you on the spot a little bit there, sorry.
So Tomas had been able to have amazing success, I think, with a lot of his clients and get some really good results. But I think the turning point more recently has just been in the confidence in him going out and being confident to sell and to market the business, because I think that's been the game changer more recently. Because I think technically he's proven himself over the last few years and has been able to get some great results. So that was never in doubt. But now it's just this new level of confidence and to come from a law background, and now he's a really good salesperson. So to add that on top of it.
And that's a funny thing. Now I laugh about it, but I had before, meeting you guys, I had zero sales skills. So for people listening, it's not that, I had never sold anything in my life. So now I look backwards and I go wow, I can actually sell anything on this space, or I have that confidence. But before, I remember still my first website, it was after one of the challenges where I was encouraged after a bootcamp that we do, some bootcamps on the Champions program. And that gave me the confidence to go to a stranger and just ask him probing questions. And, do you have a website? Is it working? And that was the first sale.
Guys, it's perfect. Who would have thought, when 5 or 6 years ago, when you both start, or when you're at uni and you go to your corporate roles down there in trendy Melbourne and you're working for, that would have been exciting. And who would have thought, fast forward to now, you've gone on this journey where you've completely, you think what you both have achieved. You've both completely re-skilled, in digital skills, and now you're building websites for these corporates. It's a pretty cool story, really. And I know, like everyone, you obviously, you start out with us wanting to buy and sell websites and do due diligence. You've got the skills to do that as well, but it's really cool to see your personal journeys. For you two, this was the quickest way that you could quit your high-paying roles and get out there and build a business together as well. So, and you guys are traveling. Caitlin, you mentioned something. Share with everyone what your plans are. You're not just lightly going on a holiday. Where are you guys going?
So just while we're getting some great momentum with the business, we're actually, Tomas, because of the pandemic, Tomas hasn't been able to see his sisters for a few years, coming up to 5 years. He hasn't seen one of his sisters. So we're having a family reunion with his family over in Europe for 6 weeks.
Yep, 6 weeks. Nice one. And your business obviously will, as everyone just heard, these guys are just hitting their straps, but you can still, now that the business is set up, they can take off for 6 weeks to Europe Very similar to like Caleb and Jen, and I know you've had them as your coaches as well.
Yeah.
Caleb and Jen do the same thing. They're off traveling all the time with their. That's the beauty, I think, of a digital agency, like how you guys are setting it up. We notice that in our community. All you young guys, all you young folk, are more going for that laptop lifestyle idea where you set it up, take off for 6 or 8 weeks, and then, you know, because you can still service customers and look after them and earn good money online. And that's super cool. That's really exciting to see.
Yeah.
Guys, I do want to say a big thank you there for sharing a bit of an insight into your story and hopefully inspiring people like listeners that, hey, if you're in a corporate role and you want to retrain in digital, this is sort of one of the potential outcomes that you can get. So a big thank you to you both for coming along today to share your story.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for having us.
Great.
And yeah, if you want just my final thought for someone listening.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember when I first met you guys, I was still having, you know, I was going, as you said, for the portfolio. I think, Caitlin, even this year you were
Yeah, I was focused on portfolio, definitely.
because I think it's what attracts us all,
Yeah.
right? But it's all about having that focus and literally following the steps that you break it down very easily for all of us. Taking those baby steps, because it feels daunting when you're in a big corporate job to say, right, you know, you're leaving a big income behind. How am I going to replace that? But guys, it actually works. You just have to, you know, trust the process and go for those small steps, and then, you know, the results come along. So yeah. Thanks for all the coaching and everything.
Yeah, that is unreal, Thomas. Thank you so much. And I think it's really good advice for anyone listening here. Like Thomas said, you can do this. It's small steps. You've just got to start learning. And I think one key take-home point too that I've noticed over the years too, that I'll leave any listeners with, is guys, just start out small. Just start on some little tiny website, learn how to fix it up and SEO it. That's exactly what Thomas did. He did it for free for his mum. Look where he and Caitlin are today. And that's what we say to everyone that we coach, is just, it's not, we don't want you jumping out there and building websites for corporate straight away. Start out really tiny, and that's the good news about this space being online with websites. You can start out small very easily, and you can help people. You can help a charity, your local school, or your mum or your sisters. Just build a little small site. So of course, if you want to learn how to do that, make sure you do our free masterclass where we show our whole strategy about how we buy, renovate and sell websites. And have a look around on the eBusiness Institute website at some of the other success stories that we have and some of the advice that we've got around getting started in this game and reskilling yourself with digital skills. But until next time, get out there and have fun. And thank you so much, guys, for coming along today and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for having us.
See ya.